We are recording now. Okay, this is Durwood King with ELC 111, and this is October the 8th, Thursday, October the 8th, and this is our live Zoom session from the shop. And I'm going to be rolling this computer around in here. You see it moving. I got it on wheels and with my camera, and we're going to be looking at some labs. And we're starting out with Victor. He's done the parallel circuits, which consists of three light fixtures in parallel. Which is this. So that's the normal way that you wire light fixtures, where your hot wire is connecting with all the bulbs equally, and then the neutral is also across all of them. That's parallel, true parallel, like you have in residential. So this is a normal way to wire bulbs, where series is not common on wiring light bulbs, but series is very common in industrial. So, you know, we were using light bulbs just to show you how series works, how the measurements kind of, how they play out when you put actual loads in series. But now we're going parallel. You're going to see how the characteristics change. All three characteristics change with parallel, as far as your voltage drops, your current readings, and your resistance. All of that is completely different with parallel. And so what we're after here is to understand the laws, the rules of parallel, how it's different from series, and that's our building blocks to be good electrical technicians. So we're going to verify that he's got everything wired correctly here. And I'm going to move the camera around some. He's got his power, his 120 volt leaving the switch. And it's going here to a wire nut. He's created a pigtail. And that 120 volt, he's got three wires in there: the incoming, the outgoing to the next fixture, and then that one leg there that gives us a wire that we can get around with our current clamp to read the amp reading for that one particular bulb. So that it leaves through that wire nut and it goes over to another one. And he's got it set up with an incoming wire, an outgoing wire that goes to the next fixture, and then that individual leg that we can get around it with an amp clamp and get an amp reading here like we need to. The neutral wires are, you know, they're daisy chaining through the silver tabs like normal. So the neutrals are just daisy chaining above the bulb. And then you leave here with this one, that 120 there, and it leaves and it goes to the last light bulb, and there goes your last neutral. So all the neutrals are on the silver tabs like normal. And then all of the 120 wires, they're like normal going to the brass. So it is true parallel like this. 120 volt gets applied to all the bulbs equally. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're getting here. And the neutrals are all applied like normal. So your parallel rules are you get the same voltage drop across each load. So you get 120 volts across each one. But the branch currents are going to be different when you have different wattages like this. You got 100 watt, you got 40 watt, 50 watt. So the amount of current is going to be different per leg. When we looked at series, it was the same current that went through all of them. So that's, again, that rule does not apply to parallel. So your first rule is all the voltage drops are equal, and they equal the source voltage. E total equals E1 equals E2 equals E3, but the branch currents are different. Your total current leaving the power source is going to split here. I1 will be different from I2 and I3. If you add all three of them up, it'll equal I total. So I total equals I1 plus I2 plus I3. And that's your second rule. So we'll go ahead and so he's got it wired correctly. And let's put some power on it. He's got the bulb 140 to 60. Yep. Turn it on.
Only stimulation to me big.
Get the real prices.
Yeah, the planet shut down.
Okay, so McGill, of course you're watching. This is your board too. But on the lab, where we're going first with this is he's gonna measure the incoming voltage. Get my stuff together here. He's going to measure the incoming voltage and then measure the voltage drop across each bulb, and then get the branch current across the branch current in each leg. He's going to check the amps. Like I've got those circles drawn there, he's going to be checking the amps in each leg, and it's going to be different in each leg. And that's a difference there with our parallel as compared to series. So I'm going to keep this camera moving around. And he's checking voltage up at the power source. And what you get. So I'm going to start recording here. Miguel, all you'll need to do is you just need to come in and go through the motions of doing this, do the measurements yourself. 119.8. And now he's going to measure the voltage drop across the 100, the 40, and the 60. Yeah. And if you'll let me have the meter, and I'll hold the meter for you, so we can see everything. So he's checking across that 100, and he's getting 118.9. I'm going to put that down. 118.9. And then go to your next bulb. That's your second one, which is your 40 watts. And your reading is 118.9. So you had the same exact voltage across that second bulb. 118.9. And now he's going across the third one. Okay. And he's getting 118.9, the same exact voltage. And that's the way it's supposed to be. 118.9. And that's correct, isn't it? That sound right, McGill?
Yes, sir.
Great. So now you're going to check the branch current for each one. He's going to switch it over to amps, and you'll get a different amp reading per leg because the wattages are different and the resistance is different of each bulb. So he's getting around that individual leg so he can get an amp reading. And he's reading how much? 0.77 amps from a 100 watt bulb. So 0.77 amps. He's around the 40 watt bulb, and the current's going to drop 0.32. Hold on. My camera went out, and this thing, when you move it, let me get the camera back active again.
I still see you.
Okay. For some reason, it changed on my screen, and if I don't see it big on my screen, then I don't really know. I don't really know for sure what's going on. Now, okay, I see Esteban's in. How you doing, Esteban?
Doing good.
Good. How you doing, man?
Good, good.
He's checking now. Yeah, this is actually your board too, Esteban. But when you come in, when you and McGill come in, you need to go through and do these measurements. But Victor's already got it wired for you.
Yes, sir. All right.
He's checking.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor.
Right, you owe him a fish plate.
All right.
Large flounder. Took me 5 minutes. Okay. So he's getting the branch current off of that last bulb there, and he's getting 0.49, 0.48, 0.49 in. So on the lag sheet, we're going to flip over now to the next page, and that's for the 60-watt bulb, 0.49. If you notice that the amp reading was a little bit different for each one, and it's going to be because of the wattage is different on each one, and the 100-watt drew the most 0.77, the 40-watt drew the least amount 0.32 amps, and then the 60-watt drew 0.49, so it's a little more than that. So it's proportional like it's supposed to be. Okay? Right. So the next thing is going to be it's asking you to calculate the total current by adding these up. Let me set the camera down. And you can see that okay, I believe. Let's get this aligned. So it wants us to add up. Can y'all see that okay on the screen?
Yes, sir.
I said,
You see the paper there?
yes, sir.
So the current for the 100 watt was 0.77 amps, and then through the 40 watt it was 0.32 amps. So we're going to add the 0.32 in here, and then the 60 watt it was drawing 0.49 amps. And so we're going to add these up and then see what is it. I got it, baby. You keep the gloves on. You get ready to do some more measurements here.
All right.
Yep, texting. Okay, that was excellent. So we're going to do 0.77 plus 0.32 plus 0.49, 1.58 amps. And now we're going to measure the total circuit current with the amp probe and see how close that is. Okay? So you just simply go back it up to where it leaves the switch at will be a good point. Read 1 point, kind of dark. Y'all see that?
1.61.
1.61. There you go. Okay, that's it. So the actual measured number was 1.61, and that's pretty close to that 1.58. It's within 300ths of a volt. If you subtract that out, you're only talking, just very, very small amount. So it's good enough. It's close enough. And then the next part is you're going to use the measured values of current through each lamp. You're going to calculate the hot resistance of each bulb. So we simply take the voltage drop that we have across each one, which would be 118.9. We take that, divided by the individual branch current, 0.77 amps. That's going to give us an R that's going to go into here, okay? And then the 118.9 divided by the 0.32 amps for the 40-watt bulb would give you an R that goes into here. And then same thing there. Divided by the 449 amps because it's a 60 watt, what would give you the R for here. If you see here in series, you have different voltages here in the same current, but now the rules are totally different. It's the same voltage across each one of the bulbs in a different branch current. So that's an important to see that. This is a very simple way to see it, but it's a good way to see it. To understand the basics, the rudiments of circuit measurements, that you understand that before you look at bigger things. So when you get all of that in there, those individual R's, you want to plug those numbers into the reciprocal formula. And when you plug them into there, it's going to look something like this. So with mine, when I plugged the numbers into there, I had the actual resistance numbers here, and then I plugged them into the formula. And down here at the bottom, I'm just showing you how, when I got reciprocals of each one, you know, when you say 1 over 141 ohms, it's going to turn into a very small number, like this. And then the 1 divided by the 363 ohms, that number is going to be very small here. So those are the reciprocals there. But then when I added all three of those up, it was still a small number. So you add those reciprocals up, and then you say 1 divided by the total of the reciprocals, and it ends up being 72.32 ohms. And so that number is going to go back up in here for 19 for doing it in that way, using the calculation of your hot resistances to get a R total. Your second way of getting R total is simply by taking the main voltage coming in from the switch divided by the main current that you actually measured using two real numbers. And the real numbers, the real measurements, gave me a reading of within 2 ohms of calculating it by reciprocal. So and that's kind of normal. You would be close and sometimes dead on. So for this one, once he calculates all that, he's going to plug them in there like I did, and get the R total here, and then doing the measured way. Let's just simply go back to your main voltage. Here, yeah, go back and read it one more time and see it's at 118.9 up there. See. If it's still that 119, that means you're losing a little bit of voltage through the switch. And you may be, that's not uncommon for that to happen. $119.1, okay. So we're going to take that 119.1 divided by the actual current that you measured. When you measured it, it was 1.61, right? 1.61 amps. So we're going to take that and that's the fastest way to get our total with it burning, the hot R total. And we're just going to say the 119.1 divided by 1.61 amps. And that's going to give you 73.98 ohms. Now, so your reciprocal method is going to be pretty close to that. It may be dead on, but if it's off a little bit, that's normal. It causes a little bit of drift in these numbers when you round. Okay, so that's what you do for the first section. Now we cut the lights off and we will replace the 40 watt with a 75. you cut it off. You replace the 40 watt with a 75. Okay, so he took the 40 out of the center there and put a 75 in there. And what you'll find out is it's going to change, the I total will change, and then I2 will change, and nothing else changes. Okay, go ahead. You won't see any effect change in the first branch leg or the last one because they're independent, because they're in parallel. So you go through and measure the main voltage up front. 119 even. Okay. So we're at 119 even, and then get the branch currents of each one. I mean the voltage drop across each one. So he's reading across the first one. He's getting the 118. 119 even. Okay, read across the 75 watt. Just getting that one. Exactly 119 even there. That's good. Numbers are agreeing there. Now he's reading across the 60 watt bulb. He's also getting 119 exactly there. So that's good that all the numbers they're that close. Now all that agrees. And now we're going to read the current, the branch current of each bulb. So go to the 100 watt and get your branch current. He's switching the meter over to amps, and he's using a clamp. Just remember to use a clamp to check amps. You're not using the probes. So he's getting 0.76. A while ago you had 0.77. So that branch current is unaffected by everything else because of parallel. 0.78. 76. Okay. And you can see little fluctuations as you go through. The incoming power can change a little bit because all these air conditioners in here cutting off and on. So he's at the 75 watt bulb now. 0.55 amps. So 0.55 amps there for the 75 watt bulb. And now he's on the 60 watt bulb. He's reading 0.48. 0.48. He's checking the current there. So 0.48. And then we go through the same process again. You're going to add up those three currents there and get you an I total. And then we're going to measure the 1.83. 1.83. Okay, good. That's the current over there at the main switch before it branches off and feeds off. 1.83. Go through, and you have the first one was 0.76. 0.76 amps. And 0.55 amps. And 0.48 amps. Here we are with 0.76, 55, 0.48, and that would equal 1.79. And we measure the actual 1.83, Go back up there and measure it one more time. It's still the same thing. Oh, I got a phone call coming in. Hello? This is an urgent message for the vehicle owner. We've been trying to contact you about your extended warranty. Okay. Right. So if you may be wondering why do we have a little difference here between adding up these branch currents, we got 1.79, 1.83. So you got a difference there of minus 1.79, a difference of 0.04 of a volt, which is almost nothing. So how do you account for that little bit of difference? And how that can happen very easily, everybody, is this. Put the current clamp around one of the wires. Now, this current clamp is a current transformer, and right now you're reading 1.84. Now just simply 8.84. Simply move that clamp around a little bit, and you'll see that number change a little bit based on the position of the clamp. Like change the orientation a little bit, and you'll probably see that number move some. So you're reading what now? 1.79. $1.79 there. So look, so here's the explanation for that little bit of drift in the numbers. That current clamp right there that you're looking at, that clamp, when you put a wire through there, if you happen to move it around some, the magnetic field intensity can appear to change depending on where the wire is inside that clamp. You go ahead and close. When that wire moves around inside there like that, the reading can vary by maybe a couple of hundredths of a volt just because of the position of the wire within that clamp in there. So it's very normal to see numbers be that little bit of change in there. So that's nothing to worry about there. That makes sense. So it's normal to see that when you're only talking 0.04 of a volt. That's almost nothing. So you're very close there to what it should be. And then your next step is going to be going through again with calculate the resistance of each bulb. So the 100 watt bulb, it had all your voltage drops 119. You're going to take your 119 over the branch current to 76 amps, and that's going to be that resistance. Okay. We won't go through all that. We're going to go ahead and knock the lab out. I'm being conflicting now. Here, you're going to put the 119 volt, 119, divided by those individual branch currents that would be the 0.55 and the 0.48. 0.55 and 0.48 amps. And those R's are going to go in there. And then all three of the R's include the one down here, that one there, and then these two. You plug them into here, which you won't need that. And it's going to give you an R total that way. And then the next R total, the second way of figuring R total is taking that real number of the 119 volts divided by the actual measured total current that you had back on 1.83. You actually measured 1.83 amps when you actually measured the main current. Okay, so that calculation is going to give you our total in a simple way. And they should be pretty similar. They should be pretty similar. And now we're going to replace the 100 watt lamp with a 40 watt lamp. And then that's our last section of this. And we get another set of readings, and then we go on. We'll cut this off and let it We're going to replace the 100 with a 40. Yes, sir. We're moving to get that. Well, I mean, he may be ahead here while I'm finishing this one up. Hey, take your coach, y'all, and I'll be right there. Okay, so you got 40 up there? Very good. Okay, so he's got a 40 in the place of the 100, and it's not quite as bright. Of course, it's not supposed to be. But now he's going to go back and read. We're going to go back through those same readings again. The main voltage at the switch. 119.3, and then the voltage drop across each bulb, and it should be the same thing. It's got 119.3. And he's going to the next one. It's got 119.3. Perfect. And the last bulb. And you got 119.3. Beautiful. Okay. So these rules are staying true throughout all of this. Even you change the bulb, it doesn't change anything else as far as the rest of the circuit. You still got the same voltage across each one. We'll get the amp reading through the 40, 75, and then the 60. So it's 0.32 amps. 0.32 amps in the first leg. So if you see here, you've got 0.32 in that leg there. The only thing that changed was the actual branch current in that particular leg. It doesn't affect anything else. Other than main current, it'll affect I total. I total will change when you change anything out here. So you've got the 0.53 for the 75 watts. And that's normal. .53 amps there, and then on the last one, getting 0.48 on the 60 watt bulb. 0.48, and that's normal there. So we're going to add these three up. Let's get our thing in place. 32. 0.53 and 0.48. You know the rest of how to do that. You're going to add those up, give you this. You're going to measure, go ahead and measure total current. One more time, got one more measure. Got 1.38. 1.38. Okay. So that should be close to the calculated I total when it would get done with all those. You're going to calculate your resistances again using the E. All your E's were the same. They were 119.3. So 119.3 on each one. Divided by 0.32 amps, 0.53 amps, and 0.48 amps. And those numbers are going to go into here. You will also plug them into the reciprocal formula. It's going to give you R total here. And then your last R total would be the 119.3 divided by the actual basic current of 1.38. It's going to give you an R that will go into there, and they're going to be similar. That's it. The rest of this lab will be stating the rules, the 3 rules for parallel circuits. And those rules are going to relate to the voltage drops. The next rule is about the currents, the branch currents, and the third rule will be about total resistance. You would summarize that, and then do these to show all your calculations. So, any questions about the lab for McGill, for Esteban?
Nah, I'm good, Mr. Durwood.
Okay,
I'm
great.
good.
It's very straightforward, very straightforward. When you guys come in, you will physically do the lab. It's already wired. You just physically do the lab and to be able to get your credit, okay?
Can I get it?
All right.
Yeah, Victor gets an extra large fish plate from here.
Does he want sausage in it? Do they have?
You want sausage in it? He said no, no sausage.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna lock this thing out. We're gonna move over to Benjamin. Benjamin's on series. He's been working a lot of hours over at Turlington Lumber Mill. And he's coming today to catch up, which I'm glad he's done that. Pass that to Benjamin there. Thanks, sir. And the meter. Thanks, sir. All right, so our Zoom mobile, I'm calling this our Zoom mobile.
All right.
We're rolling right on around here. I got me a cart set up with my Zoom equipment, and this laptop is a nice one. The battery stays charged up for hours. So I started up with a good full charge, and that means you've done the lab, but then you need to do all the calculations to turn the paper in. Did 3, but I just need you to if you turn in 3, yes, but I hadn't graded it. I hadn't graded it. I'll start on that tomorrow on the weekend.
Hey, did you get my worksheet? I had left it on your desk.
Mm-hmm.
For,
Yeah, I got it. Yep, I sure do. Yep, got it. All right, so we're going to roll over here to Benjamin. Great job, man. Your next one is combination, but don't change nothing. Let them other guys do that, and then you can do the one that Nicholas is setting up now with 5 fixtures. It's combination series parallel. Yeah, I've got you can get you a lab paper if you want to be looking at it. But actually, you're better off just focusing on getting the lab, finishing up your calculations. Roll behind you. Well, I tell you what, six months ago, I'd have never guessed I'd be in this shop rolling a computer around, talking in the camera with a mask on, of all things. Somebody told me I'd be doing that, and I'd be saying, really? Really? So you just never know, man.
Yeah.
How life changes, Yeah. Stuff can change pretty quick. My mother's out at Southwood right now getting rehab. She's had 10 inches of her colon cut out, and here life changed for us a lot. So it's temporary, She's calling me. She's out there getting rehab, but she's calling me for ice cream. When I get done with this class, she's want me to go to Butler's drugstore, and she says, I want a vanilla Diet Coke, and I want some strawberry old-fashioned ice cream in a cup. She want me to bring that to Southwood to her. So her appetite's up pretty good. So that's where I'll be heading when I get done here with this session, is to make a Butler's drugstore run, ice cream run. So
That's all right.
you got to keep her going, man. And
Yeah.
she's reaching out like that. She had a tumor. It was, you know, they took 10 inches out, and they got it off. They got all of it out, and so, but they want to do treatments for how it's affected some lymph nodes in you know, in the nearby area. So we'll see if about that once she gets stronger. So let me get one. Well, this is a series, so it's different. This is not thinking about leaving, not neutral. Those are neutral. This is a whole different, whole different problem. Look right here. With the series, the only neutral that's in there is right here. It's on the last. You've got hot coming in, hot leaving, hot coming in, hot leaving, hot coming in, and neutral. So it's hot all the way through. And this one, I'll put the same one. I'll put it that way. Well, look here, you got black wire. Red's what we got in here. This extra black one might be, oh, that's what we do. You know, you use the black. That's extra. It's not even in this case. Let's just get it. Put your line on there. Okay. We're getting his series squared away. And I'm going to put, well, I'm not going to hit the pause button because it's liable to, I'm not sure. It seemed like I've hit pause before and it would actually interrupt the session to where it didn't, things didn't process right. So I'm going to leave the recorder running while we're doing this. I know it's over. We're going to stay out here. The thing that's got me concerned about this is that I see people getting lax about the mask, but then we see that the president's got it all of a sudden and it's hit the White House. You know what I mean? And it's still in Sampson County. I mean, it's healthcare facilities is dealing with it out there where my mother's at. They have dealt with it out there in Southwood and Mary Grand. They've dealt with it. It's happened on this campus. So we can't let a guard down. Can't do it. Once the vaccines are out and everybody can get a hold of it, then you may be able to, you know, when you really see the numbers go down to almost nothing, you know, then I'd say, I'm sitting here trying to make sure I can get my back surgery in a couple of weeks. I don't want to mess my chances up to get my back fixed, you know what I mean? That was sure a monkey wrench in that, you know. They do a COVID screening on you before you have surgery, like 2 days before. And I had worked toward getting my back fixed I've been planning on it for a year. If I can get it done and get straightened out from that fall. Got both my knees replaced last year. One of them done in May, the other one done in November. They both of them worked out good. I'm very thankful for that. Arthritis. cartilage worn down, bone on bone. It was pretty bad. But my knees don't hurt now. It's a blessing, it really is. Thank God for it. Yeah, Benjamin's getting it done up here. He's getting his series circuit wired up. Yep, y'all just hang on, and once he gets it done, we're going to verify it. I'm going to put the camera up there and we'll walk through the circuit with you. For those of you that, if there's anybody watching that hadn't done series yet. Actually, Jamie and Jacob, I don't have y'all down for having completed the series lab as far as doing the measures. I think Jamie had to leave or something or other. I know he's got it wired, and then Jacob Lee also has not done series. Esteban, where do you work at now?
Working construction with my dad.
Okay.
Same thing we're doing for the whole year and the last year and past
So
couple of years.
are you on a job site right now with him?
Right now I'm not because I had to come over here and join the meeting, but I'm probably gonna head over there around 2. It's right here in Clinton.
Well, what are y'all building now?
We're building a metal building, like construction, like a metal building.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Like a workshop or something?
No, it's just a regular barn unit building out of metal.
Yep. Okay. So are y'all subcontractors? Do you do it under a big company or does he got his own company?
Basically, yeah, contractor. We do it under a company.
You do it under a company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do they get y'all the jobs?
Yes, sir.
That's good. They just kind of tell you where to go, and then they supply the materials.
Yes, sir. That's how it is.
That takes a lot of the headache out of it. That's got to be a relief there. So who does the wiring? I mean, y'all putting the buildings together, but do y'all do the wiring too?
No, we actually don't do the wiring.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We just build the structure, the metal building, and that's it.
Yep.
But sometimes side jobs that we have, like from time to time, yeah, we do some wiring, like in houses or in the metal buildings that we build.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but that's rare.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
So you're the building subcontractor, and then they've got an electrical contractor doing the wiring.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then your main parent company coordinates to all the subcontractors.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Who is the company? What company are y'all working for?
It's a company called Superior. It's over there in Beulahville.
Called Superior?
Yeah, Superior Metal Structures and Concrete.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just add all this.
Well, you got to say one divided by 372. You got one over there equals something. and then one over this one, and then one over the other one. And once you flip them, get the reciprocals of them, then you add them up. I'll show you right here.
Yeah, you, we're,
It's going to be weird. Yeah, it's going to
that's okay.
it's because until you get them all added up, it's going to be that way. See here, one over 141 is going to be this.
Yeah,
They're going to be very small. And just let them run all the way out, and then keep them together. And then once you add them all up like that, then when you do the reciprocal, it's going to give you the actual power number. You got to do reciprocals of each one, and then add all those up. So they have to be. You got to do reciprocals for the whole. If you round them, the number's going to drift more. If you round them, it's better just to let them run out. Yeah. It's a lot of writing. It is a lot of writing, but it's, again, once you get past this lab here, you don't have all that again, you know. What Victor was asking about was why the numbers are so small. And when you look, when you're doing the calculations there on parallel, once you get the hot resistances of each one, like 141.52 ohms and so on, once you get those, you're going to do the reciprocal method of each one, 1 over 141, for instance. If you look way down at the bottom of the paper, it ends up being a very small number. So the reciprocal of each one of these up here is very small. And you add all of those reciprocals up, and it gives you this, and then you get the reciprocal of that final total, and it ends up being like 72 ohms. So you know, it looks kind of funny, but that's the actual way it has to be done.
Yes, sir.
When the resistances are different in a parallel circuit, when they're different, then you have to use the reciprocal method. You know, if they were all the same, if they were the exact same resistance, you could just take the resistance of one of them and say divided by 3, and it would give you the correct number when they're all the same, like it shows in chapter 4. But that only works whenever the resistance is identical on each 3. You can take the resistance of one divided by however many of them that there are, and it would give you that total. But again, that's only when they're identical, and that's included in your worksheet for chapter 4. You can look in your book, and it gives you, and it shows you that formula for that, which I can show you. Let me grab my book and I'll show you that. Okay, just let me put that back. Just put it back in the car. We can use it as a last resort. Just get you another. They get broke in shipment sometimes. But what I was just saying about that calculation, I'll show it to you. Now, so for those of you that are, okay, Esteban, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Now, when this is in the book here, when all the resistors are the same resistance, you got 3 of them that are 15 ohms apiece, you can just simply take the resistance of one and divide it by the number of however many of them there are by 3. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5 ohms. And so this is the way you can do it when all of your loads have the same exact resistance. It's just one of them divided by the number of however many there are. And that's the way you do it like that. And you would get that same number of 5 ohms even if you did the reciprocal method with this. If you put those numbers in the reciprocal formula, it's still going to give you 5 ohms. So no matter which one you do, it's going to be correct. But again, when it's like this and they're identical, just simply do this and it's just a lot faster. The reciprocal method is shown in the book. You know, it's shown in the book on page 29. And that's what you have to do whenever the resistances are different. So stick with the one on 29. It's called an alternate solution. It's actually the necessary solution when you're doing different value resistances. Okay, you have a good weekend. Tonight, that's right, tonight. Yeah. I couldn't understand you with the mask on. Yeah. This one here ends at 150. It does. Yeah, it does. Okay, you have a good weekend. Gotcha. Okay, so we'll just test yours Tuesday.
I just gotta make it too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. We'll see. And then you lay it, yeah. But this is because in the brass and out of the silver. Even though you don't normally look like on silver, you have to do this place. Exactly. That neutral hit that last one and then jump back to your wiring up. Okay. That's it. Right. Yeah. You got it. I'll see you later. Okay, San Francisco and Bill said, hey, we'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. Good. Okay. So we're gonna end the session here. It's 150, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the stop button. And you got any questions, Esteban?
No, sir. I think I should do it. Understand everything.
Great. Yeah, and you plus you've had residential before, which was strictly parallel anyway, and so you just need to come in. If you can get here Tuesday, go ahead and go through your lab, you and McGill, and then you can change it over to another lab in Chapter 5. Or have a good weekend. But I'll see you tonight. Yeah. Ben's got the residential class tonight, and but the next circuit after parallel will be a combination of series parallel, and that's your next lab for in here. And then you can, once you and McGill finish the measurements, then you can go ahead and change the board over and go to your next one. So, but you have a good weekend, Esteban, and whoever else is watching, Jamie, Jacob, whoever happens to be watching, Renee, and everybody else. So thanks for watching, and hopefully see everybody in here Tuesday, back in the shop at 12 o'clock. And thanks again, and God bless you. Have a nice weekend. And thanks for joining. Esteban, you have a good weekend, man.